Hey everyone, today we are in Chicopee, Massachusetts, inside Szot Park. Wow, they're not even mowing up to it anymore. This is called Bemis Pond. That is Bemis Pond Upper Reservoir and Bemis Pond Lower Reservoir. These reservoirs are going to be demolished and put back to nature. They plan to start construction June 1st. Today is the 14th of May, so it's only got 2 more weeks before they start construction. These reservoirs were built in 1862 for the ice cutting industry. Back in those days, you didn't have refrigeration. So back in those days, in the winter time, they'd have to come out here, cut blocks of ice, and store it inside of ice buildings. Same thing that the lake drain reservoir was built for, if you saw that. Well, as a kid growing up around the area of Chicopee, we used to come here because the park would actually plow the ice and had it open for ice skating. I never skated, I just liked walking around on the ice. And now they're gonna demolish it and they're just gonna have the little Bemis stream coming through here. And they're just gonna make it into a nature walking trail, they said. I'm amazed to see that they're not mowing up to it. And by the looks of it, it's been a couple of years since they mowed it. Used to walk around there all the time on the trail. We're gonna do it, but nothing says we can't walk around on the dams. So the news says that these dams are in crumbling, failing condition. Well, I wanna take a look at them because despite being that old, from the 1860s, they never really looked bad to me, and we've been on them plenty of times. We made a video on clogging the culvert where Bemis stream goes underneath the main road. I like to say it's Front Street. I'm not exactly sure. But right there, that's the old Chicopee High School. The new Chicopee High School is right down the road. But you can see there's a pretty dense trail right here. A lot of people walk down here. I used to come to this place all the time as a little kid. Look at the hills. It was always a good place to go sledding, even in the wintertime. So I have never been up here when these spillways have actually been running. And by the looks of them, they never really run. Look at all that poison ivy. I remember as a little kid, this upper reservoir, there was always the biggest, fattest bullfrogs I've ever seen down there. We're gonna take a little walk down there right now, see what we can see. Right there. Homeless person sleeping, I can literally see him coming up. So right now, just want to see if we do see any frogs. A bunch of fish just went away. So supposedly these 2 pools of water are infected with a lot of E. coli from the ducks going to the bathroom in here. My whole life they've always been discolored and gross like any duck pond. Right over here is the actual discharge that they're probably going to open up. The water level's already very low. They have lowered it quite a bunch. I did not bring my boots down here today, but I didn't intend on getting wet. Just want to take a look. We'll probably just take a look at it from up above. Just want to take a look at this area, get some good footage of the place, because we're going to come back here the end of the year when these reservoirs are supposed to be completely gone and demolished. Don't see any frogs today, but I do see a whole bunch of little fish. Can't be that polluted if everything isn't dead. But the news said that, but also I couldn't believe it. I read an article that one of the news networks literally said that they don't know when these were built. 5 minutes of research, I found 1862. There's a lot of ducks down there, or I should say Canada geese. See them down there? That's kind of like a little river delta coming off a Bemis stream. Years and years of sediment coming in, slowly filling it in. But I can also tell they dropped the water by multiple feet recently. So yeah, this is the spillway. I used to be afraid to come underneath here as a kid. There was always a lot of poops because this is the place people would squat down and go to the bathroom, because there are no public bathrooms unless you walk to the whole other side of the park. And look at that, there's some pretty cool, what kind of wasp made those? See them right there? So we're just gonna take a little walk right here. Then we're gonna go down to the dam on the lower Bemis Reservoir. This one doesn't look like they dropped it much, but historically it looks like the water was way up there just by the way the ground is. Yeah, definitely was way up there, because look at the water line, bathtub ring over on that structure. Yeah, this thing they got really low. And I don't know what they mean by it's crumbling and in disrepair. I've seen dams that are fully functioning with dangerous amounts of water behind them that are really crumbling with, you know, rebar sticking out. This place doesn't look bad at all. One time we actually walked up inside that spillway right there with running water. It was extremely ear-piercing loud in there, but there really is not a lot of flow coming to this. It's just a little stream. I always thought this place was nice. Look at this. I don't see any damage whatsoever on these spillways. I really don't. See this metal plate here? Even as a little kid, there's another spillway over here in case it got really high. Let's see if it's still open. You had to walk across these concrete beams. You had to balance, or you could fall down inside it. But they put a metal plate, I can see. Yep, if you would have came here 10 years ago, you would have had to balance yourself on just, see these concrete beams? They're about a foot wide. You had to balance yourself on either one to get across, but now they put metal plates. Yeah, these spillways, you can tell, haven't gone in a very long time. Just wondering if there was anyone under there. Look at all the poison ivy too. You know, now that the water is so low, we can actually take a walk down and look up the spillway, because I was unable to do it on the other side. Let's take a look. Yep, now that the water is multiple feet lower, we have a good area with no growth we can just walk on. So maybe now we can take a look at where the water is being discharged pretty well. A lot of grapevines and poison ivy. Yeah, honestly, these structures are in fantastic condition. They don't deal with road salt. Very, very little deterioration for how long this place has been abandoned. They haven't used this as an ice cutting pond since the 1930s, supposedly, when refrigeration completely put all those kind of companies out of business. I'm going off the trail. I don't care. We're gonna have to find ticks on ourselves later, if there are any in the area. There's a lot of birds and stuff that would have probably ate them by now. Yeah, look at the debris. See, it all got put up here. This is where the water was. Used to love coming down here as a kid to look for frogs, and as long as I can ever remember, it was dirty and murky looking. Coconut. It's a nice looking pond. But I understand why they want to just put it back to nature. This kind of a liability having these here, even though they're barely holding anything up. Even if this thing just washed out, there's not a lot of water here, I gotta say. Wow, these guys are friendly. So many people must feed them. Not using a zoom lens or anything. In fact, I'm using 0.6. They got no fear at all. So this other side only has one spillway, but it's a really big spillway where a whole bunch of high school kids who skip class would hang out and smoke pot. We'll take a little walk down there behind this. Wow, not even gonna get up and I'm like 6 feet away from them. They're very used to people. I wonder what all the ducks are gonna do when they start demolition in 2 weeks. It's kind of making me sad. Why did they start the project now when there's baby tiny little ducks all over the place? Look at that, there's little babies here. I'm gonna zoom in on them a bit. Right here. Tiny little guys. A lot more overgrown than I remember the last time I came in here. A couple people just left here. Definitely someone's been sleeping here. Look at that, it says free on the back of that. That must have been the side of the road. It looks like a medicine cabinet. I remember the last time we came down here, there was so many drug needles and stuff. This right here, the slope of it, you actually have to run to get back up this. This spillway hasn't ran in such a long time. The amount of garbage is so bad. Now this is deteriorating despite never really running. But I've seen spillways operational way worse than this. Yeah, this is not the place you really want to be touching things. There are so many needles and stuff. Last time I came down here, all kinds of other gross things. Tires. But look at this structure, it looks in great shape. And I don't think they did any maintenance since it closed. I don't know if the park did or not, but like I said, it's been since the 30s. I have a video, we walked all the way up inside this thing when it had a bit higher of flow. We're just gonna take a peek. Still poison ivy down here everywhere. Now this goes down to a main road where we unclogged a super undersized pipe. It's ridiculous how small it was. If they ever had to discharge this dam, you know, for high flow. This thing is in great condition. I don't know what they mean when they say this thing is dangerous and crumbling. Maybe the square pond is a little bit of an eyesore and it's definitely polluted, but all right, so you see there's trails everywhere. A lot of people travel these areas. Kids from all the schools around it. So now we are gonna go down to the culvert by the road. You guys might remember that unclogging a couple years back. Look at that, trail right back up. So we pulled a shopping cart that was stuck in the end of the culvert and a bunch of sticks. They also say in the news article where this thing is going to be demolished that they want to reopen part of the culvert to open air, which means they want to restore it back to a a stream bed. So in order for them to do that, where it enters the road here, apparently it goes underneath a power facility called Chicopee Electric Light. It looks like it goes right underneath the parking lot, and I really don't see how is that even possible that they would be able to do something like that, reopen it. But I saw a bunch of things that were wrong with those articles. They didn't even do the research to figure out when the place was built. They just said unknown. Look at all the beautiful skunk cabbage. This stuff stinks as you crush it and step over it. So right here, way more overgrown than when we came here. Don't remember what time of year we did it. Whoa, mud. But here's the pipe. Severely undersized in my opinion. Let's get around to that. I know, guys, I know a lot of people are gonna say it. Not the right day to not be wearing my boots, and I could have easily put them on. But I'm also not flooding myself, so I did know there wasn't going to be any mud. But here we are, if you guys remember, and by all the invasive Japanese knotweed, we must have done this in the winter when there was really good. But anyways, when we did it, we pulled a shopping cart out of here, brought it up to the road so it could be taken away, and we got a lot of sticks out of here. Look at the sticks are right back. So this thing flows sometimes good enough where I'm telling you that thing's undersized. But look at all the different types of brickwork. They just been saving this retaining wall whenever they did maintenance on it. That pipe is fairly new. We never went in that pipe, and we're not going to. It's very small. That's a 3-foot pipe, and it's very uncomfortable. This thing goes nearly half a mile until it gets to the Chicopee River. Now, when we unclogged it, we unclogged that. Then there was a couple dams of debris we let loose, went through here. Pretty interesting, I gotta say. And we're stepping right across on the rocks, not getting wet, but pretty cool. Now I'm gonna walk back up there on top of this spillway, or the discharge I should say. But before I do that, I want to take a bunch of still pictures of the area, and maybe we can do a before or after when the work is supposedly done. They already see marked a whole bunch of things, painted trees, hung ribbons, so definitely something's gonna happen. It's so cool. This area, the leaves are actually full. Most of the area, they're not completely full like this yet. Walking up the hill out of here, what do you think this is? Woodchuck? Bunny rabbit? Something dug a big hole. So that culvert pipe is right there. You see it goes under the road. It doesn't come out right there, but the tunnel continues sideways underneath Chicopee Electric Light. So maybe when they say they're gonna reopen it, maybe it will actually come out here, and they'll just dig a channel there. Don't really understand why it goes that way and why they didn't redirect it in the first place, but I'm gonna show you a Google Map image right now. Where I'm pointing right now is this road right here. And you see it's marked, the stream is going right underneath the power facility, but it could go here. So I really don't see any reason why they'd have to cut down any of this forest. And a squirrel right there. All the animals are friendly. They don't mind getting close to you, because we're in a park where a lot of people probably feed them. Now we're going over the top of that place we just walked down inside. So overgrown. When I used to come here as a small child, they kept this trimmed, mowed. It's only open now from people walking. We're not gonna walk around the whole thing. I just want to get up on top of the discharge. So there it is down there where we were standing on it. You can see the stream down in there. And look at this. When I was a little kid, obviously anyone could just go over that, but I never did. But this right here, somebody has messed it up enough where you could actually get in there. And I'm gonna go in there real quick. So I took my hard hat off because it's not gonna fit. And I am squeezing through. Good thing I lost a lot of weight this year. Going down the stairs. This wood is still good. I'm gonna make sure I step on the edges where it's actually supported. Look at that, there used to be water down inside here, but they drained all that. Look at this. I've never been out on here before, but I have been down in there. In that older video, I walked right down inside of that thing and was able to look up. But look how high where it used to spill. I remember those times. And this looks like they recently replaced maybe some of this or took the top off. 1890, that's not a date, I don't think. But look at this place. Pretty nice. I want to get a few before and after pictures up here. This is nice. It's not showing up as much as it was on the picture taking, but you can see, look at the amount of oil here. A lot of that could be natural from the swamp, but a lot of this oil you're seeing could also be, this is runoff from a whole ton of shopping plazas, and a whole ton of people's cars are definitely leaking. You ever go to a shopping plaza and you see there's a dark, nasty oil stain at every single parking spot? Yep, it's washing somewhere. Not to mention how bad that must be as far as salinity too, from road salt. They're never gonna stop using road salt, but that causes severe damage to the environment, believe it or not. Yep. All right, coming back out of here. So that oil's kind of nasty, but people's cars, in my opinion, don't leak as much as they used to. I remember when I was little, oil stains used to be a whole ton worse. So this park here also has this really cool fountain, and it also has this really cool tank. And just 5 years ago, or maybe 10 years ago, when I used to live in the area, that fence was never there. It's vandalism, completely. People broke all the windows and sights on it. It had graffiti before it was all cleaned off. But we're gonna take one more look down here before this place is demolished. And I do want to see that sign. I'm thinking that sign may have nothing to do with recent developments. That may have been there a long time. Homeless guys over there getting dressed, about ready to go. All right, so yeah, this was not a no trespassing sign or anything. Yeah, this sign is super duper old. Definitely super duper old. Well, here we are, we're off today. I do kind of feel bad for all the Canadian geese and things living in those ponds. And why this other tank? Why did they not fence this one in? Kind of odd, but once everything's over, we will do a before and after of the entire area. See what comes of it. Thanks for watching, everybody, and have a great day. Oh, that actually just reminded me, a whole bunch of Canadian geese just went overhead. Back when I was in middle school, during recess, we scared a whole bunch of them. They took off, they came back around, and they were dropping poops on everybody as they flew back over everyone.